Hello, dear students. Back again with another session of questions and answers.
Hello.
Hello.
Moshe.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Okay, let's begin with a question from Claudia from Italy. She asks regarding love, how is then the pure love? The love that brings us to adhesion with the love of the Creator. Can we describe this? What does it mean, pure love?
How do you call it? It's אהבה שאינה תלויה בדבר. That it's love that doesn't depend on anything in return.
Unconditioned love.
Unconditional love, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That I don't see anything in return. That I don't even care if someone knows that I'm doing something good for him. I don't even know if I'm doing something good to the Creator. I have no idea. Just the ability to do something. It's unconditional love.
Yeah, and another question from Italy.
Just why is it it's hard to put it into words, because it doesn't exist in our world. So we try to describe it, yeah, but.
And to clarify her question, there's another question from Italy from Francesco, and he's asking: so to do good to the others can be considered satisfaction of their own vanity? And I would answer Francesco that in our world, we're like in a box, okay? Everything that we have, we're just like in a box which is called self-love. It's a program, it's just a software. This is how we think, feel, love each other even, perceive reality. This is our, as Rabash is saying, we were reading it since man was created with self-love. This is now our actual program. But when we move to another nature, to the second nature, this is an opposite nature, an inverse nature, like to really love the others, then you begin to feel that all of the others are your parts, really. And you begin to love them. And you want to love them. And there begins all of the questions regarding the intention, regarding how to work, for whom you work. Because if you feel that they are your parts, and of course you would love them, you would want to bestow to them, because these are mine. I want to collect all of my shattered parts and feel one. But then, for whom are you doing it? Why are you doing it? For your own satisfaction? And it's only a reality of bestowal. You just want to give them, but this is called like love thy neighbor as thyself. You're giving at the end of the day to yourself. So there you can check the intention, because you're doing it only to reach adhesion with the Creator, because He wants you to be like Him, and this is the only reason why you bestow onto them, or you're doing it just to fulfill yourself. And this is where the game begins. And before that, our path is just to discern and to see really clearly that we are in this program, we are in this box, and to have the real desire to go out of this box.
Regarding the first question, Moshe just mentioned now, love another as thyself. So how do I love myself? Yeah, I love myself in a way that I want everything for me. I want the very best for me. And the very same way that I love myself, this is how I have to love someone else. That's unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. And we have a question from Holland, Luke. He says, regarding the equivalence of form, he says, but in practical sense, how should one tune in on the right frequency? What should we do in order to obtain equivalence of form?
Best possible thing is listen to what the Kabbalists advise us to do. The mindset of the group as a group, because it's not the faces, it's not the people, it's a spiritual entity, the group itself. It's on a higher degree. And therefore, if I act according to that higher degree, I take their mind instead of my own, follow the advice of the Kabbalists, I can reach equivalence of form.
Mm-hmm. And we have a question from Giacomo from Italy. The purpose of life is to go back in syntony, in harmony with the Creator, to go back in connection with the bestowal of the integrality, thanks to the force of love. Can it be considered the body of an avatar to get this? You know, you saw the movie Avatar? These blue creatures.
Something on a flight.
You put yourself on a... and you like operate them. There's other creatures. Avatar is just another body that you get into and you're operating it. So you need to be in a body of an avatar to get this, the bestowal, the connection. Does it exist? A rescue plan or a call to get back to the frequency of the source of light? And yeah, so I guess he's asking, what is the way to be in connection and bestowal? Do we have to enter another body of another entity in order to reach it?
It's when we say in the wisdom of Kabbalah body, we mean the desire. And once I start wanting for the other what he wants, meaning he wants to reach spirituality, and I do all the possible efforts that I can in order to help him do that, then we are connected in our desires. That's the connection. I don't have to actually go into his body or something. The body is the desire, and that's how we connect.
Mm-hmm. Mike from London asks, I missed it. What do you mean upper system? What does it stand for?
Is that live? I just talked about it. That's amazing. What is the upper system?
I asked first. Okay. The upper system is really the system of bestowal. If we're talking about the Creator, its will to do good to His creatures, to benefit His creatures, and that means that this good, or to love them, this love, this good means that we have to reach adhesion with Him, to be like Him, equivalence of the form, total equivalence of the form. And this is our correction. This is the goal of life. This is the significance of everything that we are and of life. And in order to achieve that, there is a system. Upper because it's above my will to receive. It comes before any thought, any desire. It operates everything that I perceive, everything that I am. This is the system of the light. I just perceive it. I just perceive phenomenons. And it is the system where we come from. And all of this system, like worlds, and you might heard of these, names like Sfirot, Partsufim, I don't know what, Zeranpin, all of these names. These are systems which, with only one purpose, to use everything in reality just to bring me to the point that I want to adhere to the Creator. That's it. And every time moving between deficiencies to fulfillments, to lack, to states that are called day or night or month, everything is spirituality. The purpose of this upper system is just to bring me up the ladder. This is the purpose, until I discover that this upper system and everything which exists is existing inside of me. And the only thing which is, let's say, outside of me is something which is called His entity. That means the Creator in a way that I cannot talk about it because we only perceive Him, in my vessel. I see reality in my vessel, but reality as it is, or Creator as it is, I don't know, I cannot talk about it. So, but a part of this, we perceive the entire upper system, we feel it as a part of us, it becomes us. And as the Kabbalists are saying, when you finish this correction and you perceive, and let's say that the upper system did its job, then you begin the real life. Then you begin something that the Kabbalists could not describe. These are called the secrets of the Torah. So we have Cornelia from Romania, and she asks, the love that we're talking about, is related to the multitude of connections between the creatures?
Yes. Yes, it's the more diverse, the more different we are, and we connect above these differences, the stronger we can, the deeper we can perceive reality, and perceiving reality is perceiving love, actually. Moshe, can you add to that?
We are one, as the Kabbalists are saying, we were one soul, one big desire to adhere to the Creator. And in the process, we will learn it from up to bottom, top to bottom. We were shattered. This is a process, not as we imagine, like I'm taking a vase and I'm throwing it and it's shattered. But it's a root, it's a branch of what we're talking about. The shattering is where the ego entered between us, and in each thing, even the most, something that would be the pure bestowal, there's the ego, like the self-interest, that I want, even though I'm bestowing to Ariel, I want something for myself. The intention is for me. And this is the opposite of the Creator. And this is also the way that the Creator is being revealed to us in the opposite way. We perceive our life shattering, madness, crisis, everything. And we know that we are all interconnected, but we're all interconnected in such a way that we are like together but cannot stand one another. Why? Why this power exists? This power that I would really want to love the others. I would want that they would love me. But, I could also throw in something,
I have to.
So, why is it happening? I want to love, but I cannot. There seems like a big force, even a tangible force, which is not allowing me to love. Why? This force is called,
the posterior,
the posterior, the backside of the Creator, where I'm perceiving it through my will to receive. But when, through the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah, we attract the upper light, we slowly are transforming this intention. And when we're crossing the barrier, when we're going out of the ego, rather than shattering, we begin to correct the shattering. So each and every connection that I have with the other creatures, I'm inverting it to connection of love. And then I reveal that between me and Ariel, rather than shattering hatred, I reveal that yes, this is the power of the Creator, but through my attitude, through my demand, lack, deficiency, to correct our relationship, to see that it's rather love and not what I perceive in my ego. So I'm ascending to a higher level of perception, and like I perceive that yes, between us there's love. And this is how I reveal love. This is how I reveal the Creator in each and every one of the possible connections that we have. And Baal HaSulam, we talked about it. Baal HaSulam is mentioning in his introduction to the study of the 10 Sfirot, in one of the letters there, I don't remember what, he's talking about the phases of love, 4 phases of love, and Rav Leitman explained that in these phases you have to justify the Creator, or in other words, to find that in every possible connection that exists, there is love. But not only between me and the others, and not only in all the other incarnations that we were, and I see that everywhere there was love, only that I could not perceive it, but also in all of the possible connections that the others have. All of these other parts of my soul, I feel them, I live through their perceptions, and I justify connections of love. I see that the Creator is perfect in all of the possible connections of this one vessel. And this is how I correct the shattering, and I see that there's, how do we say, there's none else besides Him. There's none else beside this power of love, this Creator. And He was perfect all along. Only that to give us a chance to perceive this, we had to go to the other extremity in order then, like a game of Lego. You need to, or puzzle, you need to just put it into pieces so the kid will learn how to recompose it. This is the story.
So what actually broke between us is the relation. It's not that my hand fell off and I don't know what happened, but it's only our relations that broke. And it's like with cells in a body, simple cells that once they start working together correctly, where each cell sees himself as a part of that bigger organism, and the organism, he feels belonging to it, that this is the main thing. Once we start behaving towards each other this way, then like the simple cells that come together through this kind of work, they discover a completely new degree of existence, consciousness, which is called a human. So the same, we as humans, if we start working towards each other, seeing the entire mechanism, the whole body, let's call it, and that we're here in order to, donate our share into it, then we reveal inside that a completely new degree of existence, which we call the Creator, which we call love. Very good things.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about that is that we were created after, let's say, as a consequence of all of this thought of creation. Okay, there's a thought of creation, and then the creature is passing through a systems, in these upper systems, and here we are. But we don't know the thoughts of the Creator, we don't know the intention of creation, the thought of creation. But when we recompose all of these pieces together, like all of our connections, then we also ascend to attain the purpose of creation, the thought of creation, and it is called that we attain the thoughts of the Creator. And this is how we become like Him. So it's not only, well, I recompose everything and here you are. It's not just this. Through this we learn the Creator. And this is called, how do you say, from thy actions?
Do we know you?
Do we know you?
We come to know you.
Mm-hmm. This is not only a story, but this is like a commandment. We need to know the Creator. We have a question from Latvia, from Daiga, and I think it's she. Asks, does this mean that love can consciously be created from a fact that I like the same things that the other like? If you like the same things and I like the same things, so there's love between us.
On a certain level, sure. Moshe loves football and beer, and I love football and beer.
Whoa!
Amazing!
Which kind of beer, though?
I like Müller.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. Warstein. Well, there are many beers. Excellent.
I like Italian beers, but
Italian beers too, by the way. I drank Italian beer
very good.
a few weeks ago. Excellent. I never expected, but yes, excellent.
So
beer.
do you feel now a love now?
Now I feel very connected to Moshe. No, really, it's amazing. But yes, it's on a certain level. But if suddenly Moshe, something happens to him, I don't know, he goes into this inner descent and he no longer loves football,
Yeah.
then I will no longer feel close to Moshe. So it's on a certain level, but if we're talking about love that comes from the spiritual kind of love, then it's unconditional love. It doesn't matter whether he likes something or not, as long as we're both aimed at bestowal. No, it does matter. Yeah, true. It's like with soccer, only here it's being aimed at bestowal. It's the thing, mm-hmm. which includes everything else in it.
And also, if we're talking about the Kabbalistic point of view, because if we're talking about, again, in this box of our world, so of course, we're talking about natural psychology. I like certain things, he likes certain things. If they match, overlap, so we have certain affinity. And everything that we're saying is not to to disqualify or to degrade something that we have in this world. But when you ascend to the upper world, then you see everything like it was from above, and you see that everything that we're doing, love, the biggest love between couples, between people, between I don't know what, mother and a child, it's all put in this one box of self-love. Because self-love means that everything that we are doing is for our own benefit, our own pleasure, our own interest. This is how we are soft-wired, actually. Our brain is motivating us to do things only because of pleasure. Principle of pleasure, Freud talked about it, everyone knows it. And it's not a problem if we're speaking about our world. But when does it become a problem? And this is what Rabash is explaining. It becomes a problem when you want to attain the upper world. And this self-love, this mechanism, prevents us from attaining spirituality or the purpose of creation, to adhere to the Creator, which is the force of bestowal. And that is why when we're talking about affinity or real overlapping, or that if someone loves something and the other loves something, in our world really it doesn't create any real connection, because the connection remains as long as I can derive pleasure from Ariel, from the fact that we're sitting together, drinking beer, and what else? And watching a football game, okay? But if I, for a certain moment, will not derive pleasure from Ariel or his from me, then our relationship and love and feelings that we imagined that would be love, they disappear. And we see it. Today, with the growth of the ego, many couples are getting together with infatuation, with the first love. And then when the fantasy, the air of the fantasy is leaving the balloon, then you see that you have this man, and you look at him and you say, what?
The rest of my life.
For the rest of my life. And
but why?
And you want to get these feelings, the infatuation, and you don't have it. Okay, and then you go to study yoga together, then you have children, then you...
And then it's too late.
Yeah.
No, it's never too late. I'm just saying that what do we love in the other? We love the way he makes me feel. That's what I love about him. And once I don't feel that good about myself because of him, then that's it. Goodbye. See you.
And in spirituality, Baal HaSulam is writing about it in the introduction to the book of the Zohar. You could find it in our sites. It's one of the 4 introductions he wrote. And he's writing that when a person loves something as the other, so in the measure that they love the same things in spirituality, love would mean that they are both in a certain quality of or attainment of bestowal. This is, you can say that they love each other to a certain extent. Okay, so they perceive the same things. They feel like particles of no, I don't know if to give the scientific examples, but you can understand that if they have like electrons, if they have the same value, they orbit in the same circle. Okay, but to the extent that if Ariel is in bestowal and I'm in reception, in total reception, so there would be such a hatred between us that, not hatred like in our world, but I would not even perceive Ariel because he's in total bestowal. I would not even see him. No connection between us, really up to this point. So every connection in spirituality, real connection, that you feel the other, I don't know, to the fullest extent, his thoughts, his emotions, his attainment, everything depends on the measure that you're both in the same level of bestowal. Until we all come to the same level, final level, when we are attaining the Creator and feeling as one. This is why they say that there's this quote that says that in that day he shall be one and his name shall be one. He, the light, and his name, the one that gives his name, like the vessel that attains it. And we have another question from a student from Europe. How can we see that this reality is just the Creator playing a game with us?
How can we see this reality is just the Creator playing with us?
Yeah, a game.
We can't. You have to... We're in something called this world. In Hebrew, it means olam. World means olam. It also comes from the word he'alem, which means concealment. So we are on the degree of concealment called this world. In order to attain what's concealed now, we have to rise to a higher level. So at the moment, I myself, I don't perceive the Creator, But what can help me not forget about this is the opinion of the group, the environment that I choose. And this environment can remind me, because it's actually it's a very good question, because this is all our work at the moment during the preparation. It's like the creator, he comes from behind, and like kindergartners, yeah, they come from behind and they push you and they hide, yeah, and you're like, okay, who was that? What was that? So it's the same with the creator. We go through life, and suddenly something comes. A cop tells me to stop my car. I don't know, the IRS, they tell me I owe them $1 million, whatever. And it's the same. And I have to be, and I go, oh my God, that's it, life's over. And then I remember, okay, it's the creator. He's actually calling me. He's trying to remind me about him because I forgot. And this happens to us like once a day if we're lucky, twice, right? And but this can happen to us, I don't know, it can happen to us 60 times a minute that we fall in and out of this thought that it's the creator. What does it depend on? On the environment, constantly holding me, keeping me in this thought. Because only when I'm in this thought can I actually do the work with the scrutiny and so on, with respect to the light, with respect to the creator.
So can I ask you a question?
Is it you or the creator that wants to ask me the question, Moshe? Aha!
So what's the difference between someone who's just saying to everything that happens to him, it's the creator, and someone that studies Kabbalah and really trying to go in this path and to find that creator is really affecting all of his life? What's the difference between just saying and attaining? Or
I'd say that there are two things. One is that saying isn't enough. It's okay, we do it until we start perceiving it, grasping it. If you say it, Bala Sulam says between 3 to 5 years. It's a qualitative term, but anyway, the meaning is that if you study and you do what the Kabbalists say and you don't achieve attainment, something you should check what's wrong. And the other thing is that still, nonetheless, what I ask of the Creator, and this is what differs us from any other method, religion, so on and so on, is that what we ask of the Creator is to change us in order to see His good, as opposed to asking the Creator to change His attitude towards us in order to feel good, which means that the Creator, He is utter good, and if we change, we perceive that.
And we have a question, an interesting question from Sarah from France. And she's saying, so you develop spiritual concepts, she's telling it to us, yeah? Mm-hmm. But it seems to me that you never addressed the issue of 125 points to correct. Mm-hmm. For example, just this for example, why not send us the approach, therefore discuss point by point the elements to be corrected? Mm-hmm. Just to give a list, okay, this is level 1, 2, until 125, and to discuss what are the points to be corrected. There is certainly a growing spiritual progression based on apprenticeship. So why don't we do it and just tell her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and what she has to correct, and that's it?
Well, we actually are doing it, I thought. Yeah, it's all the articles of what we learn. First of all, what we're actually doing is that we're creating a mutual vocabulary, so that when we say light, we don't imagine a light bulb, but we imagine, or the Creator, we think about this force of bestowal, or whatever words we choose, so that we'll understand each other and won't imagine things. And this is what we're doing on the fundamentals course, which we're going on through now. And we also study the articles and the concepts by Kabbalists like the Rabash and Bala Sulam, that they teach us how to do this work. So we're getting into it, and we're going concept by concept: freedom of choice, perception of reality, none else besides Him. And these are all elements that after we create the mutual vocabulary and we go through these concepts, then we can start talking, digging deeper into what she's asking.
Mm-hmm. And you know, Sarah, one needs to feel all of these things to correct. I understand your question because you want, how do we say tachles?
Tachles in Hebrew.
In Hebrew. You say it
To
in
the
Austria
point.
as well, you know, to the point.
To the point.
Get to the point and stop. Okay, this introduction I know, but you will not have any need of what we would tell you if we would open you now states that you have towards the teacher, towards the friends, towards other people around you. You would not even perceive that could be such a state, such emotions, such feelings like ups and downs, things to correct. When I came to Kabbalah, I didn't think I had to correct something. I just came. I wanted to study alone with the Rav Leitman in his room or in a cave. And what can you do? You have other people studying with him before me, but it's not my fault. And you have to get along with him. Okay, nothing to correct. I just wanted to study, to accumulate knowledge, to feel good with myself, to understand the answer for the questions of all of my life. And to talk about correction, what do I need to correct? Yeah, they say correction. What does it mean, correction? That at the end of the correction, you attain the Creator. Yeah, give it all to me. This is what I thought about, correction and attainment. Just the perspective of reception. In order to need correction and to have these specified points, now you do like this, now you do like that, now in the other way, you need the influence of the Lighted Reforms. And the Lighted Reforms begins to do two things. First of all, increase your desire towards spirituality, increases the point in the heart. And parallel to this, it increases also your ego. And all of your perception begin to focus on your attitude and relationships and emotions with your fellow students or friends which are studying with you in the same group, and your attitude towards Kabbalah and to the other and to your life and to people who study and to people who don't study and to the teacher. And then you begin to, and to of course the books, and then you begin to open an ocean, I don't know how to say, like a new dimension of feelings that you didn't even knew that existed. And then when you begin to feel, but to feel on your flesh, not that someone is telling you, you begin to feel strange phenomena, emotions like this, like that, then you will need these specifications. And these specifications, what to do now and what to do there, are all written in the amazing books of Rabash and of Baal HaSulam, like Shamati, I heard, you have it in the site, and like the steps of the letter of Rabash, the writings of Rabash. He's writing like, I don't know, I was reading it and it's as if we were on a production line, that you have to pass the same states, each and every one, until the end of correction. He's just looking from, down there, and he's knowing perfectly what you have to step and he's also writing what you have to do. But if we read it, and if I would read it, and okay, so one has to tell his ego, you're right, but I'm going above reason, and I choose the society, I choose the teacher, or I choose the connection with the Creator. For us, at this level, this would be like empty words. But when you will begin to pass these things, it will be an ocean of emotions. And it's similar, to, I don't know how old are you, but think of like a 5-year-old, my daughter, let's say. She's some days she will be 5 years old. And I have now to explain to her about emotions of love and how to be with a man or with a woman, and hate and love. And she knows. She has her puppet, she has her mommy, she has me, and that's it. She loves me if I give her a gift. Now go and explain her all of these states. You will feel 1, you will feel like this. 2, you will feel like that. 3, you have to do like this. She will look at me and she was, what are you talking about? I love everyone, and that's it. So we have to pass these states, but what is good in our path is that the acceleration in this, everything depends on you. You choose the velocity of your advancement. It could be through 20 years, and it could be in 1 year. It all depends on you. So, good luck. Another question from same Luke from Holland. It seems that in the lesson we didn't answer his question. So he's saying, I'm going to give this another try because I'm really curious for the answer for this one. So how would you define a deed of ultimate sacrifice in this respect? If a person intentionally sacrifices his life to save others, is this still considered egoistic love? What does one wish to receive in this case? Isn't this a true act of bestowal in our world?
Well put. In our world, I'm sure that this is an act of bestowal. But that's the only thing that we have in our world. In our world, we have only egoistic actions. It's not good, and it's not bad. It's life. It's nature. That's how it is. Our inner filter, as Moshe mentioned before, our inner program is maximum reception, minimum effort. That's it. That's how we operate. Now, if I make a calculation that if I sacrifice my life, I will benefit from this somehow, I don't know. People, by the way, when the Twin Tower disaster happened, right? People jumped from the 50th story. Why? Because behind you there's something more terrible. There's fire or whatever. So we always make this calculation. If I'm a mother and I choose to save my child, okay, it's beneficial for me. So we call it in this world act of sacrifice. But if there's nothing in it for me, then I can't do it. I simply don't have the fuel for it.
Yeah, and we're already after the lesson of freedom of choice, and we know that our choices are made of 4 factors. First of all, there's also genes for this self-sacrifice, for altruism. Scientists are finding nowadays also genes for everything. And then you have the environment. Like, I was educated to sacrifice myself, to give myself to the others. There are cultures, entire cultures, that this is like the highest thing, to give myself for my country. And everything, at the end of the day, that we're doing, as noble as it might seem, it's still within about, if you could just see it, within this program of self-love. I'm sacrificing myself because this is how I'm in peace with my education. Or I'm sacrificing myself because there is a point in me, and Ariel explained it in one of the lessons, that sees its eternality. I'm eternal. Something will remain afterwards. I will sacrifice and everyone will appreciate, and everyone will even benefit from what I did. The country will survive, the tribe will survive. So I think that there is a continuation, and my noble act continues to exist and to influence this reality. And this is why people are doing it. But what if there was a possibility to choose where you don't see anything more beneficial to your will to receive? Everything is equal. And you don't want to choose something for your own benefit, but really clearly for the others. How would you choose? What would you do? Would you sacrifice, and why? For what purpose? And this is why we need to discover the purpose of life, the purpose which is the adhesion with the Creator. And for that, the Kabbalists are measuring everything that they are doing only according to that goal. And this is the only goal. Otherwise, you don't know how to orient yourself in reality. What? Should I behave like the moral values in this society or in that? Moral values are changing each time, we see. Now, before it was prohibited to abuse drugs. Now they begin to sell medical cannabis, and you will see that Rav Lightman explains that in some time it would be allowed to just smoke dope or to take pills, who knows what. Values are changing. So the only value which is absolute and it's not changing is the adhesion with the Creator. And according to this, we will do every action, every deed, everything. And then we will know if it's noble, not noble, and only according to this. This is the only campus that we can have. And, here's a cute question. According to Kabbalah, this is from Lubico, I think from France. Mm-hmm. And he's asking, according to Kabbalah, can we learn Kabbalah and be a good student without yet knowing the Torah and Talmud?
Yeah, no problem. That's why we have the books that were written by what we actually study. We study the main textbook, Kabbalistic textbook, which is the Zohar. We learn the Zohar itself was written in Aramaic, so we don't study the Aramaic, but we study the commentary of the Sulam that was written by Bala Sulam, the Rav Yehuda Ashlag, to the Zohar. We study the Ari, and we study Bala Sulam and the Rabash. And these are the authentic Kabbalah writings which we study according to. Why specifically these? Because they are the best fit for the development of our soul in this generation. And there's no need to read or know anything beyond that. But the good news is that once we go into attainment through these writings that we just talked about, then we'll start understanding the inner meaning of what it says in the Torah and what it says in the Talmud and all these other writings.
Yeah, Bala Sulam is explaining this thoroughly in an article, his article, The Essence of the Wisdom of Kabbalah. Mm-hmm. He's talking about the 4 languages in which our sages conveyed and talked about the upper system. These were the language of the Bible, the language of the halakha, the commandments or the laws, mm-hmm. The language of the mythical language, like the Zohar and all of these myths, and it seemed like myths, and the law of the language of Kabbalah, which is the 4th language. And each language, they used it in order to describe and convey certain phenomena in the upper world that you could not say it otherwise. Like if they use the language, the mythical language, like of the Zohar, it's to describe certain phenomena that no other language here could help. And only through this you could grasp certain phenomena and processes of the upper worlds. But when we now read the Talmud, and yes, you're right, before, like in ancient times, it was like this, that it is written that every kid, every child in Israel, from down to Beersheba, like from north to south, knew all of the laws of purity and impurity, and which means that every child attained spirituality, and they all learned all of the knew by heart, all of the Bible, all of the Talmud, and they attained it. But this was other times. Now that the ego grew, as we explained in lesson number 4 or 5, I opened the book of the Talmud, and what do I see? I don't know. I see. I remember I was studying the Talmud, and there was a Gemara which is talking about the organs, very specific organs of certain rabbis, and they were just comparing. So the organ of this and this rabbi is in this and this size, and the organ of this and this rabbi is in this size. And some are saying that his organ is, the Talmud is writing about that things. And then a certain lady is coming to them, and she's saying, your sons are not your own. Because it is said that they were so fat when these rabbis, when they were meeting together, so between his belly and, the bellies were touching one or the other, and below the bellies could pass like 2 bulls. And all of these stories, and why would the Gemara talk about such things? So when you attain spirituality, when you attain the inner meaning, then you know exactly what he's talking about, and you know that it's nothing that has to do with this world, only the will to receive, and it's your eyes are open, and then you feel that these are actions that you have to do in your own will to receive. It's just a book of instructions, let's say like this, that describes the upper world and what you have to do in order to correct your soul. But with all of this growth of ego, I'm opening it and I see, 2 that are fighting over talet, or what else? Millions of things. The bull was how do you say nagach? Was doing some damage to the to the cow of someone else, and what you have to do. So we see only a bull. I see it. I imagine a bull. Or if I'm studying the Torah, what do I see? Now we're in the period of Pesach, Passover. So what do I see? I see, again, an old man, 80 years old, his brother 83 years old. And, at this period, no one lived after 25 or something like this. But, yeah, he's coming to a certain king, Pharaoh, and he's striking with his stick, and the seas open like this, and I don't know, a rain of frogs and everything. But happen or not happen, this is a question that we will deal with in the lesson of perception of reality. But I see this, and I don't penetrate to see the inner meaning. I don't see everything. So for us, as Ariel mentioned, we have these books of Baal HaSulam, Rabash and Rav Leitman, that we can connect to, that these are the actions that we can do here in this world in order to ascend to spirituality. And then we will attain all of this Talmud and Zohar and the Torah. And we will also go to the next question of Daniel from Verona, Italy. And he is asking, can you explain the concept of faith above reason? We mentioned it, and what is faith above reason?
Maybe we shouldn't mention it.
Yes, to avoid such
it
questions.
It would be better. Faith above reason. It means that after I scrutinize a certain scrutiny, very rationally, down to really the very bottom of it, I scrutinized it. And in my perception of reality, and what I think, and what I feel, it is X, whatever. Nonetheless, I choose the reason, the mind of the higher level, of the higher system or degree, which comes to me through the Kabbalists or through the Kabbalistic group, and follow it despite that, despite my own scrutiny. Faith above reason. Why do that? How do that? Why are we talking about these things? It's kind of strange. But when we talk about perception of reality, as Moshe mentioned, then we'll see that our reality goes through a filter called the will to receive. And every time we correct that reality just a bit, reality changes completely. The worst possible things suddenly appear to me as excellent. How did I not see that or perceive that before? That's how it is. It's all perception of reality.
And again, we talked about faith. This is not the faith that we are used to in this world, that Ariel told me something when I was like 5 years old, and I'm doing like this, I believe you, and I don't want to even know. Like he told me, you have beyond the clouds, you have, a bunch of angels, and they are protecting you.
I was kidding.
You didn't tell me. Now,
we know each
in
other
front of
for a
everyone,
long
you
time.
tell me?
I'm sorry that it has to come out.
Anyhow, so Ariel was telling me, and okay, I'm just believing, and this is faith. But this is called faith below reason. Why? Because it's below my reason, my logic, my ways to really see it, to check if it's true. And there's faith within reason. Like, what I see is what I believe. If I don't see, I don't believe. Okay? And this is what we have in this world. This is the approach of science. This is empiricism, empiric. But like this, we don't go beyond our will to receive. Because, think again, I'm repeating it in this session like many times, we're in a box, and these, fish in the aquarium, or there's a joke, about two babies that the babies, not babies, but embryos inside the womb of the mother, they are arguing what's out there. Someone's saying there's something out there, a beautiful world, and the other, no, I don't see it, only darkness, and only this is life. So what we do with the what does it mean faith beyond reason or above reason? I have to take faith in Kabbalistic terms is bestowal. I have to take the certain attainment of bestowal of the Kabbalist, and he's telling me, listen, you need to do these and these actions. What you see is not really what you see, but you need to know that it's the creator that does like this, it's your will to receive, and then you have to do certain actions. And I don't see why I should do these actions. In my will to receive, I see that it might be even a stupidity. But I'm doing a scientific research. I'm taking for a certain time, just for this experiment, what the Kabbalists are writing in their books, these actions, or what the teacher is telling, and I'm doing it. And from the actions and from the light that reforms that I attract through these actions that I didn't see, but through the actions I'm doing, then my reason is growing. Then this faith is entering the reason, and I perceive and I attain. But the attainment, and this is also something that we will talk about, is not within the will to receive. The attainment is within another vessel, which is called the will to bestow, or my point in the heart. Okay, so this is like just a hint of what does it mean faith above reason, and this is the only way where how we can go ahead. And this is why the scientists are like blocked. They are always banging their heads against this wall of we cannot go beyond. They try to find this divine particle, the boson Higgs or whatever. They cannot, because the beyond or the above thing would be to change their own qualities. We'll talk about it. We have a question from Vasilka from Slovenia. Mm-hmm. She's asking, which are the tools that help to find love over hate? What does it mean? Would it be enough to connect the hearts? So again, it's like strange language, but what are the tools that helps us overcome the hate and find love? It has to do with connection of our hearts, or what are the tools?
Okay, basically, good question. I have small kids, and they like, okay, okay, take him on my hands, and he does like this. Take me there, or give me that, or he shows me what he wants. So, and if we make a parallel to ourselves, we don't have to fix anything ourselves. We just have to ask the light to do it. All our work is to ask for the right thing, because eventually we always get what we're asking for, whether it's the thing itself or its opposite, in order to show us that we're asking for the wrong thing. So that is our entire work through this scrutiny, to ask the light to change us. And that's it. The light does the work.
And this comes only if you really try to hold on to this goal, this final goal, which is to reach adhesion with the Creator, with the total love, with the power of bestowal. And if it's like this, then you ask yourself, let's say I'm seeing here Ariel, and I have feelings of hatred all of a sudden towards Ariel. So if I don't have a point in the heart, like another point of view, I was calling it the expert point, expert system, like the point which observes. This is how Rav Lightman is calling it. So I have these feelings, I believe this is me, I identify with these feelings, and I just hate Ariel. Well, and if I have the point in the heart, and I hold on to the goal, and I have the environment, and I'm in the lessons, and I'm reading, then I would ask myself, why all of a sudden I have this feeling of hatred? Where are they coming from? What is their purpose? What should I do with these feelings? What are the tools that I can convert, or maybe to go above these feelings, and to see how can I develop, despite these feelings, love towards Ariel? And all of these tools that we're talking about, these are the tools that the Kabbalists are teaching us. And they teach us that you don't have any phenomenon or emotion or something in this world that you feel that you don't have to use, and you cannot oppress. Hatred remains and it grows, but on top of it, you add love. You put love. This is why they say that love shall cover all crimes, right? And we have a question from Dragana from Croatia. So if we truly believe that the Creator is love, good, that does good, why sometimes we feel that He had left us? Is that an act of His goodness that He left us.
So there's actually a good article about it.
The Peace.
The Peace article.
Yeah.
Will we be studying it sometime?
We will study excerpts of this.
Excerpts.
Actually, in the next lesson.
Very good.
You see?
Excellent timing. So, yeah, sometimes we feel that way, but it's our perception of reality. Once we change that, we see that He is good, that does good, and there are degrees to it. There is, first I see that He is good, that does good, that He behaves this way toward me. Then I see that He behaved this way toward me always, in the past and also in the future. And then there's the degree that I see that He also behaves this way not only to me, but to everyone else. So it's different levels of perception of the goodness of the Creator. That's actually what we're revealing all the time.
And no, just to talk about it in some throw you some hints. In this article, The Peace of Baal HaSulam, you could find it in our site. Baal HaSulam is talking about the greatest riddle of all reality. And we will talk about it in the next lesson, but the riddle is why nature is so harmonious, perfect. You consider the embryo in the womb, how much protection and love and care, and in the brain of the mother, instinctively, everything is just to care for the kid. And when you grow up and when you go out of the womb, how nature treats you, how life treats you, everything is bad. You have to work for your for living. Everything is so hard. It's not, where is nature? Where is love? Where is this love of the Creator? So there were some who believed that, He left us. We don't deserve His love. Others said, okay, there is one that loves us, this is God, and there's the other side, this whatever, Satan, demons, devil, and he doesn't like us. So we have to pray to God that He will tell him to stop behaving like this. Or a multitude of divinities, everyone is responsible for another thing, and many, many things. So many methods how to explain this really, this rip between these two approaches of the providence of nature. And we will see that everything that we think that He left us, that is bad, it's only due to our perception, to our lack of perception. It's like my kid. Sometimes I want that he would eat, go to sleep, and he's saying, you're so bad. He perceives me as bad, but if he would know my intentions and the deeds that I'm doing, that it's only for his good, then he would say, you're so good. So it all depends on the perception. And you know what, just one last question. Let's see who's the... So, let's take, Esperanza from Sevilla, Spain. And she's asking, how can we give God if He has everything and He's only bestowing 100%? What possibly could we give Him?
If we receive from Him what He wants to give us, then we give back to Him 100%. It's like a parent who enjoys giving his child. So the only thing that we have to do is to ask for the right things, though, that will truly make Him happy, that will grow us and make us into people that can really enjoy the whole of reality, all that He has prepared for us.
And that's it for now.
Yep.
We thank you for your questions. Keep sending them. These are excellent questions. It only helps us to clarify more and more these concepts, and you're great with your questions. And see you in the next lesson.